Life cover, if you want to get a loan from Agribank, one must provide a life cover regardless of your age. Which insurance company will give you a life cover at the age of 60, 65, and 70 years? How do our pensioners with energy to farm access loan from Agribank if some of these conditions? How much will your monthly installment be as a full part-time farmer on a 410 million life cover for farm loan of 10 million? What is the mandate of Agribank? Is Agribank there to make money at the expense of development?
Thank you.
Agribank a development or agricultural financial institution?
Thank you, Honorable Member.
I so submit.
Yeah. The good thing is the question is written, so even if you don't read everything, it's still submitted. The typewriter will type everything. Okay. There are many now. Honorable Lizazi.
My name is Milunga Elvis Lizazi,
Honorable Mulunga
the
Elvis
Shadow
Lizazi.
Minister of Justice and Labor Relations. My questions were supposed to be urgent oral questions, but then I have two questions, your indulgence. Okay. The first one, Honorable Deputy Speaker, I hereby give notice that on Thursday, 16th of October 2025, I shall ask the Right Honorable Prime Minister Elia T. Ngurare the following questions. Last year during elections campaigns, the ruling party promised the Namibian youth 500,000 jobs in 5 years, which translates to 100,000 at 1 year interval. Against this background, I shall ask the PM the following questions.
PM.
Why did the government decide to urgently stop recruiting of non-advertised jobs in the civil service? It states that for education and health, they will continue recruiting. But for other ministries, agencies, and for OMAS, and especially at Parliament, that is not well resourced, we are not allowed to recruit. What happened? We need to have an understanding what should be done in that matter. Number two, in what sector are the 100,000 jobs for this year created? We need statistics. I so submit. Deputy Speaker.
Statistics. You know the matter is 1-1. You also printed 1-1. Come and submit and start.
Continue.
At least you are in a suit today.
For IPC.
Thank you, Honorable Deputy Speaker. I hereby give notice that on Thursday, 16th of October 2025, I shall ask the Honorable Minister, my counterpart of Justice and Labor Relations, the following. Article 14(1) states of the Namibian Constitution states, where these are authorized by a competent judicial officer, in a case where delay in obtaining such judicial authority carries with it the danger of prejudice and object of siege or public interest. Such procedures are prescribed by Act of Parliament to preclude abuse and properly satisfied. Family men and women of full age without any limitation due to race, color, ethnic origin, nationality, religion, creed, or social or economic status shall have the right to marry and to found a family. They shall be entitled to equal rights as to marriage, during marriage, and its dissolution. Article 8 of the same Constitution says, administrative bodies and administrative officials shall act fairly and reasonably and comply with the requirements imposed upon such bodies and officials by common law and any relevant legislation, and persons aggrieved by the exercise of such acts and decisions shall have the right to seek redress before a competent court or tribunal. Based on that background and provisions of the Namibian Constitution, we read again that couples in Ondangwa and couples in Kobabis this year cannot get married because the schedule of the courts, the magistrates' courts, are full. The question is, what will the minister do to redress this situation that is dire for young couples who were supposed to get married this year?
No marriage.
I so submit,
No marriage.
Honorable Deputy Speaker.
Continue. Honorable Feni.
Thank you very much, Deputy Speaker. I here give by notice that on Thursday, 23 October 2025, I shall ask the Minister of Health and Social Service, Honorable Ms. Polanza Rubindawa, the following questions. Honorable Minister, the Motor Vehicle Accident Fund is financed through a fuel levy, which essentially comes from the taxpayer. Would it not be more sustainable for the fund to invest in strengthening the public hospital by establishing the trauma center rather than relying on the private hospital for the treatment of the accident victims? Number two, may the Honorable Minister explain why the patient covered by Motor Vehicle Accident Fund are often referred to or admitted at the private hospital instead of the state facility, and whether this practice reflects capacity challenges in public hospital or policy decisions of the funds. Furthermore, what measures are being implemented to strengthen the state health facility so that they can adequately provide for MVA patients? I so submit the Speaker.
Thank you. Please table the question. Thank you, Honorable Hengombe.
Good afternoon, Honorable Deputy Speaker. Honorable Deputy Speaker, thank you so much for the wonderful opportunity. As the Shadow Minister for Industry, Mines and Energy, I hereby rise to give notice that on 23 October I shall ask the Minister of Industry, Mines and Energy, in his absentia today, Honorable Natangwe Paulus Ithete, the following questions. Number one, is the Honorable Minister aware of the recent saga involving small-scale miners mining semi-precious minerals at Uis, particularly their alleged harassment, or operational restrictions. The Mineral Policy of 2003 and the Mineral Act number 33 of 1992 of Namibia does not adequately protect the interest of small-scale miners, leaving them very, very vulnerable. Number two, what steps has the ministry taken to address the grievances raised by these miners, many of whom truly rely on small-scale mining as their primary source of livelihood? Number three, could the Honorable Minister clarify the legal status of the land or mining claims being used by these miners, and whether they were operating under any permits or licenses? Number four, what is the ministry doing to ensure that small-scale miners across the country, including at UIS, are supported, regularized, and protected from exploitation of displacement by large entities? My last question, and number five, is there an intention by the ministry to facilitate a more inclusive mining policy that balances the interest of small-scale and large-scale mining operations, especially in historically disadvantaged communities? Honorable Speaker, I so submit.
Thank you. Please table the motion. Thank you. Okay, having disposed of questions, I now go to notices. Munene njotumane man. Njotumane, oh, you are a veteran, I can cut you. Let's go to, huh? Yeah. If you allow me, I was going to help you in terms of that. Yeah, just trust me. Thank you.
Deputy Speaker, before you help us, 1 minute on a point of privilege. Government accountability is to answer to the elected representatives of the people of this country. Chief Whip of the ruling party, Thursday is not a day of favor. It's a day of accountability. You can't tell me you have a government function elsewhere. You must plan your government functions in such a way that you remain accountable to the people of this country. This is unacceptable. Because if you look at the questions, last week we were complaining, today there is only one minister, and I'm very deliberate. I'm going to ask a question to the minister, my good doctor, Dr. Kantem Magaumas, Minister of Gender and all those other important matters. I get ashamed after so many years asking the same question to the same old government. Today the new government said, we are a caring government, social media government. I want to know the following, Madam Minister. On agency, young girls are still getting out of school due to a lack of sanitary pads. We have on all angles. The little Emma, also the young Emma, also supported
Oscar.
me.
No,
it was not Emma before me. I brought this thing before her, but she also assisted me.
They did not make
Where
them
are we
20
with
minutes.
sanitary pads?
just make
Is government reneging on a promise of giving sanitary pads to school-going children, young girls? Or what is the problem? Is it money? Is it policy direction? Why are we not implementing these things? It's so embarrassing when chiefs and people are calling you from regions to a man talking about sanitary issues. How can we not resolve this matter? And you are a very able young minister that I have promise and trust. What are you changing as a new minister?
Thank you. Yeah, you have answer, Honorable Minister. May I want to go to the questions?
Okay. Thank you, Honorable Deputy Speaker. Thank you, Honorable Venani. It's not the first time that you're asking the question. You've asked it before. Yeah, and I think previously it was redirected to the Ministry of Education. But what I can share with you is that, Honorable Venani, the Ministry of Education, Innovation, and those other important things have budgeted around $15. That's according to that school funding policy. $15 for wash activities. That is including the hygiene as well as the sanitary pads. But now what we have done as a Ministry of Gender Equality and Child Welfare, together with the Ministry of Health and Social Services and the Ministry of Education, including Finance, we have been working on a concept note. I do not want to announce it here today, but we are at a very advanced stage. I think within the next 2 weeks, you will see that we will start piloting something towards addressing that plight. We are aware of it. Like I'm saying, Ministry of Education did budget, but of course we have realized that it is not sufficient, the $15, because it's shared not only for girls, but it includes boys. For boys, it includes hygienic things like roll-on and all those things, because we cannot be seen only focusing on the girls. The boy child equally needs to be empowered to ensure that they are also not missing out on school. So please do watch the space. It's an initiative we are working on, directed by the Prime Minister as well. So there will be those couple of announcements.
Thank you. Thank you. I now recognize Honorable Nekongo.
Deputy Speaker, I wanted to stand the point of privilege. Yeah. Deputy Speaker, I wanted just to mention that SWAPO is a responsible government, and ministers are not here because they don't want to be here. But they are not here because they are busy implementing the SWAPO Party manifesto, including the question that is being asked, when are we going to create jobs? They are busy creating jobs.
Thank you, Honorable Member. I think we must distinguish between what and we are always on the TV, and the other day I was presiding and Honorable Venani reminded me when the Prime Minister of India came to say, how should we behave? And I asked the question, is it only for the visitors that we want really to show who we are? But for our own people, what are we saying? Our own people. So I think, yeah, now we'll go to message from Head of State, ministerial statement. It will bring us now to questions, the order of the day. No? You want a ministerial statement? Okay. A question or motion or what? Motion. No, motions we have passed, my brother. Oh. I said motions. Maybe it's because you have... Okay, let me just do it. But we are done with questions now. Okay, notices of motions. Honorable Ipumbu. Just wait, Honorable Ipumbu. It's just to communicate there to switch the microphone on. Can you call there? Yeah.
Thank you very much, Honorable Deputy Speaker. This is actually an amendment to a motion that has already been presented in terms of a report. So I would like, Honorable Deputy Speaker, I would like to move an amendment in terms of Rule 128 to amend the recommendations in the report of the Standing Committee on the Economy, Industry, Public Administration and Planning, the Stakeholder Interface and Oversight Workshop held in August 2025, Swakopmund, engagements with the Bank of Namibia and the Productivity Task Force on Energy, and which is on the order paper as item number 11. So that the recommendation 9.42 be amended as follows. The Ministry of Industry, Mines and Energy, with the support of the Electricity Control Board, ECB, NamPower, and the Productivity Task Force on Energy, should within 6 months present an electricity plan to the National Assembly that will ensure and secure affordable electricity in Namibia in the next 3 years as a catalyst for industrialization. 2, delete the current recommendation 9.42b. Renumber the recommendations under 9.42b to F. I so move, Honorable Deputy Speaker.
Thank you. Please table your amendment. Okay. I think, are you also on a notice of motion? Okay, then maybe I will take Honorable Ita motion. Yes.
Deputy, Honorable Speaker, Honorable Member, I rise in accordance with the rules and order of this Honorable House to move that this House debate and consider the urgent necessity to strengthen and accelerate national poverty eradication measure through coherent, evidence-based and sustainable strategy that empower community, identify and profile vulnerable households with precision and implement targeted interventions responsive to the socio-economic reality. Such a national framework should incorporate the principle of per capita assistance, foster effective collaboration between the state, the private sector, and civil society, and stimulate industrialization and value addition as a key instrument for sustainable income generation. Furthermore, it must ensure equitable access to productive resources and the economic opportunity for all citizens, consistent with the principle enshrined in our Constitution and the objective of Vision 2030 and National Development Plan. Honorable Deputy Speaker, Honorable Member, while Namibia remains richly endowed with natural and human capital, it is regrettable, whether by error or by default, that we have permitted a socio-economic environment wherein a few sharks prosper excessively while the majority of our people languish in hardship. Poverty in its main dimension continues to erode human dignity, suppress potential, and deny thousands of Namibia their rightful participation in the national wealth and the development.
Are you motivating, Honorable Member?
No,
You are giving...
I'm just
Is that a notice?
Yeah, it's a notice. It's a notice of motion. Yeah, it's a notice.
Okay,
It's not a
continue.
motivation.
Okay.
The motivation is coming.
Yeah, but the time.
But I say I have 2 minutes, Honorable. So can you allow me to
Okay.
speak? I really don't want to hear any voice that is distracting me. We can no longer afford to treat poverty as a statistical abstraction on a rhetoric refrain. Must be confronted as a matter of national urgency, demanding a unified response, resolute political will, and measurable implementation outcome. Honorable Deputy Speaker, Honorable Member, valuable insight might be derived from comparative international experience, particularly from developed nations that have, through integrated policy framework, strategy governance, and community-driven development initiative, succeeded in uplifting millions from poverty. Namibia too possesses the institutional capacity, natural resources, and human potential to replicate such a success, provided that our national policy are implemented with fidelity, accountability, and the grassroots participation. Accordingly, Deputy Speaker, the Honourable Member, I move that this motion be referred to the relevant Parliamentary Standing Committee for detailed examination and the preparation of comprehensive reports and set recommendation for submission to this August House. So I so move.
Please table the motion. Thank you. I now recognize Honorable Kanzorondu.
Yeah, a bit longer. I give notice that on October 21, 2025, I shall move a motion that this Assembly discuss a motion on the Universal Pension Scheme aims to provide financial security to all citizens, including unorganized workers and self-employed individuals, by allowing them to contribute voluntarily and receive pension benefits after retirement. For example, this scheme will cover people such as truck drivers, taxi drivers, domestic workers, farm workers, fishermen, bartenders, security guards, kapana laity, and men, handymen, freelance journalists, and all the workers that are paid on a cost-to-company basis.
Yes?
It was already moved.
It's point of order. We must hear the member before we can make a ruling. Honorable, yes?
Yeah, Honorable Speaker, I don't know, but the subject matter that is in the motion, it is currently, the Committee on Poverty Eradication is currently dealing with the matter.
Okay. If that is the advice, Honorable Emma? Okay, thank you. That's why you need to hear the member, and then you can make a decision. Yeah, okay. Honorable Member, that's the advice. If the matter is on the floor or to a committee, the same matter. Okay. No.
Because
Okay, just sit, Honorable Member. You are not in the committee, it's fine. That's why the members who are aware of the information are sharing it now with us. In terms of the rules, we cannot table a motion on which a similar or subject matter is already been discussed within the House. And that is why it's paramount that if the member keep quiet, it's something else. But once the information is made aware to us, then subsequently we have to take that. No, I think on that one, the matter is been discussed, and therefore that motion cannot be accepted since on the basis of that. Okay. Thank you very much. No, I will come on privilege. Yeah. I see Honorable Ita.
Be given opportunity to respond
On what?
on my motion.
No.
Okay.
You see, honorable members, that's why I was saying maybe we miss we miss each other. You give notice, and for me a notice is just to say I want to discuss the, I mean, where is Honorable Berta? She did it the other time and we went through. Honorable members, please. No. On that one, I think I've made a ruling, and that is it. Break. It's not yet. Okay. Yes. Point of privilege.
Yeah, thank you very much, Honorable Deputy Speaker. I stand on the strength in the wise words of Honorable Wise Emmanuel of Rule 83 on personal privilege. And I just want to understand one thing. And I agree with the Honorable Member, Honorable Emma Theophiles, who says the way that we have gone about ruling out a notice of motion is not correct. The member has not even landed. Number one, all of us have assumed now what must happen with the motion. The mover has not said, has not directed, has not landed the notice of motion and the intent thereof. So I don't think it is right to rule out the member without having heard the member. There must be some sort of privilege that the presiding officer or the presiding member, who is you, Honorable Deputy Speaker, afford the Honorable Member to land at least the notice of motion so that we understand what they intend to do. Because I could come here, I know probably the Committee on Human Resource and Education could be busy with NASWAF issues, or on education could be busy with NASWAF issues, but the direction and the intent of my motion could be something completely different from what the committee is doing. So yes, the title and the words may be similar, but not the intent. And I think, Honorable Deputy Speaker, the onus is on you to afford each and every one of us, as members of this House, the privilege, at least the privilege of being heard, and at least hearing the intent of what we want, please tell Manje, what we want to do with the notices of motion, so at least the intent of the motion itself. And this is not to take away from you, Honorable Deputy Speaker. It is entirely within your rights to say that after consultation with so-and-so committee and with so-and-so leadership of a particular committee, I have now come to the conclusion that your motion coincides with what the work of this committee is, or what this committee is now busy with. But I think to deny a member to even he has not finished. I know that he's my cousin, but this is not me siding with him on a personal level. It's just a matter of processes and systems that must be observed in this House, Honorable Deputy Speaker.
Thank you.
I so submit. Thank you.
Okay. Honorable members, the same article that you read, members may speak on a question, on a point of order, and a question of privilege. And the member rose on a point of order. After I think the member has heard enough to be able to interject and make a decision regarding that. So we might differ into hearing the person out, but when you hear what is the motion about, is where the honorable member interjected. And I have granted that. And the same rules says that the presiding officer's ruling on a point of order is final and binding and may not be challenged or questioned in the House. No, you are saying I must hear them. I'm trying to say that the member motivated, there is a member in the House who interacted on a point of order. Just wait, please. And on the basis of that, there was no counter to say the member, what he's saying is completely out of line. And on the basis of that, I took a decision to say, if now that the evidence, now that we are aware of additional information that we were not when the member started to motivate, this is of material impact in terms of taking a decision. And on the basis of that, I am of the opinion that what the member is saying is correct. I don't think any honorable member will stand up and deliberately mislead the House. So I take on the balance of assumption that there is plausible reason to believe that the honorable member moved to say the motion is before the House. And I think there was concurrence in terms of that. And therefore I rule to say, then the motion serves no purpose to go forward. If there is a matter, if there is a matter dealing with this, the rules are clear that once the decision is taken, there are appropriate measures to deal with. We can equally also say, let's go and verify. If it's not true what the member has said, then the motion can be reintroduced. No. I think I've made that decision, honorable members. I could have erred. On terms of the motion we have been informed that there's currently a similar motion. On the basis of that, the motion serves no purpose. Thank you very much. No. The point of privilege is also subjected, ne? Because it also says if the presiding member is of the opinion that a member raising may not raise another point of order before presiding officer has ruled on a prior point of order. On that one, I've ruled. And I agree, maybe it's not in... No. Okay, honorable members, I think on that one I'm done. Maybe we are going now to any other motion. Okay, message from head of state. Ministerial statement. Okay.
Honorable Deputy Speaker, honorable members, I rise to provide a comprehensive update on the Ministry's readiness for the administration of the 2025 National Senior Secondary Certificate Examinations, related assessments and operational matters requiring your noting. Firstly, the readiness for the upcoming national examinations. I am pleased to report on behalf of my Minister that preparations for the 2025 NSSC national examinations are largely on track. The Directorate of National Examinations and Assessment has executed its mandate in line with the examination cycle and planned timelines. Key milestones achieved include candidate registration, which has been completed on schedule, appointment of markers. All markers have been duly appointed and their advanced DSA documentation is being screened. Logistics for examination materials. The first consignment of early papers has been delivered to the regions and the main consignment was received in September. Admission permits, personnel timetables have been distributed to the candidates. By now, each candidate should know the date and time that he or she will write each subject component, as well as marking venue. Various marking venues have been secured. However, the lease of these venues must be extended due to the closure of the marking venues for the upcoming elections. Secondly, key dates for noting. Early papers, which was from the 15th of September to the 3rd of October. The main examinations, which commenced on the 14th of October to the 19th of November. And marking, which commences on the 24th of October to the 13th of December. Please note that this excludes the 25th, 26th, 27th of November for the markers to return to their respective regions and constituencies and resume marking on the 28th of November. Grading will take place from the 15th of December to the 30th of December, excluding the 25th and 28th of December. And results release is projected for the 25th of January 2026 due to the closure of marking venues as a result of the regional and local government elections, as well as during the Christmas days. All core components are firmly in place to ensure successful 2025 national examinations. However, some challenges are experienced, and I shall now note them. Firstly, financial shortfall for marker DSA payments. The increased daily subsistence allowance, or DSA, rate from 570 Namibia dollar to 970 Namibia dollar per day, though necessary, has resulted in a significant funding shortfall, with 2,097 markers eligible for DSA. The total requirement stands at 28.4 million against the available and budgeted 15 million, leaving a shortfall of 13.4 million Namibia dollar, which the ministry is addressing to prevent disruptions to the marking process and to ensure fair and equitable treatment of all appointed markers. The next point is marking during the 2025 regional and local government elections. The regional and local government elections scheduled for the 26th of November of this year coincide with the national marking period. These developments will have an impact on the marking process. Consequently, a decision has been made to close all marking venues from the 25th to the 27th of November to allow markers to participate in the regional and local authority elections scheduled for the 26th of this month, of November. In total, 1,278 markers and 20 subjects are affected. During this period, all markers are expected to return to their respective regions and constituencies, and on the 25th of November to cast their votes, and subsequently return to the marking venues on the 27th of November. Marking will therefore resume on the 28th of November. The responsibility for the transportation of markers lies with all 14 regional education officers and will be communicated as such. Additionally, marking venues will be closed from the 25th to the 28th of December to allow officials involved in the marking exercise a well-deserved break and the opportunity to spend time with their families during the festive period. As a result of these interruptions to the marking schedule, the release of the 2025 national examination results will be delayed, with the projected release date now set for 25 January 2026. In conclusion, as a ministry, we wish to reaffirm the ministry's commitment to ensuring a secure, fair, and credible national examination process. While the progress made thus far is commendable, it is important to emphasize that the success of any high-stakes examination hinges on strict adherence to established rules and regulations governing its administration. It is therefore imperative that all stakeholders involved in the conduct of the national examinations, including candidates, invigilators, heads of examination centers, school principals, ministry staff, and other role players, carry out their responsibilities diligently and in full compliance with the guidelines. This collective effort is essential in preventing any incidents of leakage, malpractice, or maladministration. Our national qualifications, namely the NSSCO and NSSCAS, are not just academic credentials, they're educational currency. They open the doors for our learners, both for employment and access to tertiary education, both locally and internationally. As such, on behalf of my minister, we issue a clarion call to all of us to safeguard the integrity and credibility of our national examinations. Let us uphold the standards that give meaning and value to the qualifications our education system produces. I respectfully submit this report for your noting, and I thank you for your attention.
Thank you. Any interventions regarding the statement? Honorable Lengari.
Thank you very much, Honorable Deputy Speaker. Before I delve into my questions, I just want to ask whether, Honorable Deputy Speaker, you will allow the Deputy Minister to give responses to our questions, or whether we will be required to wait for the Minister to come to the House to give those answers.
See, Honorable, I think you are a seasonal member. You take the floor at the ministerial statement. Now you are introducing another
I'm not.
matter.
No.
Yes. I think this slot is for questions on behalf of the statement, not even questions regarding education. On behalf of the statement regarding, examination, readiness, shortfalls, and so.
All right.
Yeah.
But I'm correct, Honorable Deputy Speaker.
I never said you are wrong. I'm just saying the slot where we are. I've given you the floor. What I expect from you is to interrogate the minister regarding his statement.
Yes.
Yeah.
No, thank you very much, Honorable Dino Balotti, for your statement. I don't think that I should even call it a statement to this House, because at the end you said a report to this House for note-taking. That is why I'm asking whether we can pose questions to this report, or is it a report that will end up on the order paper that we will then be given enough time to interrogate the report? Because towards the end, he did say it's a report. This is where my point of departure is. But nonetheless, Honorable Deputy Speaker, we are one family. I want to ask just two questions. One, there have been issues around invigilators and the lack of spaces, especially for those learners that are now going to sit for exams. I just wanted to find out from you, Honorable Balotti, and through you, of course, Honorable Deputy Speaker, what mechanisms have been introduced to make sure that every single learner that is due to sit for these exams has the space, has the resources that are necessary to make sure that invigilation takes place to actually take their exam. Two, and that is, of course, in urban areas. I want to speak about those areas where we have centers, where learners have to travel from rural areas to areas like Ochuarongo in Oshodonjupa region and other regions where they actually have a regional center to take these exams, where the institutions might not be able to provide a venue for them to take their exams, to really find out what steps have been taken to improve this particular problem, and what support would be given to even those learners that don't know and are not aware, to have a call-free toll line to find out is your website active enough and accessible enough where learners can actually access some of this information, to get the information around their venues, their timetables, and most importantly, do we have the sufficient human resource for invigilation to take place? Thank you very much, Honorable Deputy Speaker.
I now recognize Honorable Gambala. 3 minutes.
All right. Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Thank you, Honorable Balotti, for the statement. Mine just perhaps just a concern that I've raised, that there's space made for invigilators to travel, to go and vote and travel and return on duty on the 28th. But then you also have teachers that are being kind of sidelined on the particular date. Teachers have to vote on the 26th, and then they also have to vigilate for those that are in the hostels. And some of them also have to travel outside their employment area to other constituencies to go and vote. Are we, one, not depriving these teachers from voting? Number two, what are the immediate mechanisms put in place to ensure that teachers that have to travel outside their employment constituencies are then allowed to vote and return the following day to come and continue teaching or invigilate? Since that same principle was extended to invigilators during the markers during the marking period. Just want you to just suggest that one question, please.
Thank you. Honorable Minister. Oh, no, sorry. Okay. Oh, Honorable Thomas. You came in after me, Aikola.
Thank you very much, Honorable Deputy Minister. My question is very short. We are two, but very, very short. I just want, because the statement, I hear the statement, I appreciated what you are saying, but what we are saying, the classroom, they are very clouded. Very clouded. Classrooms. Full. They are full. Very much full. I think we have a certain school who are having classroom by one classroom, 60 of students, 60 to 70. That is not, I think is not right. Maybe you have to look that side. And also, the point number 2, the textbook of the children, they are sharing a copy. They make for themselves 3 to 4 learners. I think maybe also the statement, or you have to look that, and this must be corrected so that we can see that our children are receiving the quality education. Thank you.
Thank you. I now recognize Honorable Aikola. Esther.
Yes, thank you very much, Honorable Deputy Minister. My question is just that, how do we encourage commerce teachers? Because I understand there was also a letter written to the ministry, but these are the people, you look at the colleagues that are coming from outside Windhoek and they are getting 970 per day. And the commerce markers are not getting anything to say. How is the ministry going to encourage these commerce teachers also to be able to take part since there is even no overtime given to them when they are marking on Saturdays and on Sundays. So thank you so much.
Thank you. I now recognize Honorable Nashinge.
Yeah. Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. Deputy Speaker, I just wanted to find out from the Honorable Deputy Minister, you spoke of a gap of 13 million. Where is it coming from? And was it not, this process, was it not budgeted for? Did we forget about it? And how do you plan to raise this 13 million that I believe is needed? And how are you going to convince the teachers to come and do the marking process, knowing very well that there is no money? And also, you mentioned that on the 26th to 28th, the marking center shall be closed. What are the plans to make sure that they go back to their constituencies and regions in order to participate in the election, given that you have this serious gap? 13 million is a lot of money. Thank you.
Thank you. Now that we have disposed of, I'll give the opportunity to the Honorable Minister.
Honorable Deputy Speaker, honorable members, I say thank you very much for your questions. There's clearly a collective, not only responsibility, but appreciation for our efforts. So, to start with Honorable Hengari. Honorable Hengari, I need to acknowledge that the ministerial statement had an error, and that error was stating a report, when in fact the intention was a ministerial statement. I apologize for that. And your questions around the mechanisms for invigilation, I would need to get some more information on that, but I can give you my commitment that by next week we can share that with you. I don't have enough information right now. And then the questions around the steps taken for venues. As mentioned in the ministerial statement, there are timetables that have been shared with the learners, but just this morning I was able to, for the first time, visit the Examination Resource Center, and I was assured by the director, or we were assured, that all of this is also online, which makes it most accessible to those that can't necessarily go to the regional offices in the capitals of the cities. Honorable Kambala, thank you for your question. The travel dynamic is not intended to deprive teachers from voting. And I think if I understand your question, it's really pertaining to those in the hostel, when the learners would still be in the hostel. I would need to maybe just get a bit more information to give you an honest answer. I can tell you, while the TV is on us, that you go, and when you come back, I'll go, but I don't think that's the right answer. But I can assure you, and also part of the statement read, the responsibility for transportation for markers, I acknowledge that it's markers, lies with the 14 regional education officers and will be communicated. But for the hostel colleagues, I will give you feedback. Honorable Thomas, thank you very much. He's not here.
Yeah, but I think the members had the question.
Okay. So his question pertained to overcrowded classrooms, where we need to acknowledge that there still remains a high learner-teacher ratio. But the feedback is that the school decongestion plan is how we intend to remedy the high learner-teacher ratio in urban areas. And the textbook dynamic is a real dynamic. Of course, with finite resources, we wish we could have more textbooks in all the schools. Honorable Haikola, your point on the 970, perhaps that was Honorable Nashinge. That was
Honorable
yours.
Haikola.
So many questions. The 970 per day. So the DSA, as per my understanding, is really for travel, for accommodation purposes. I would need to just get confirmation that the markers are being remunerated for marking. I need to get that confirmation. But the DSA is really intended for travel. And I don't think it should be perceived that those in Khomas region are not benefiting. But again, yeah, so I'll need to get some, I don't have that answer right now, but I've noted it down. And
Okay.
lastly, to Honorable Nashinge, so as you can appreciate, the budget was drawn up based on the 570 DSA per day. And so therefore, the shortfall, not the gap, is, as mentioned, just over 13 million. But you'll note from my statement, I say I still have a minute left. I just want to repeat. I'd ask for your indulgence. So, Honorable Nashinge, from the ministerial statement we said, and I wish to requote, the ministry is addressing, the ministry is addressing to prevent disruptions to marking processes and to ensure fair and equitable treatment of all appointed markers. And it is our intention to find budget from other areas of the ministry to remedy the shortfall. With that, I say thank you.
Thank you very much. That brings us dispose of ministerial statements, and we are close to break time. We'll break now until 4 o'clock, so that when we start, we'll start with the ministerial questions or ministerial answers. Thank you very much. Yeah, come you, come. punctuality. I now put question 3, 4, 5, 24, 28, 28, 20. Yeah, I now put question 29 by Honorable Ipumbu to the Minister of Justice and Labor Relations. Does Honorable Ipumbu put the question? It's not here. Okay, sorry. Who? But I only see Honorable Balotti with the phone. Huh? Of Abnego. Okay, no, let's come back here, honorable members. I don't know. Yeah, okay, honorable. I now put question 62 by Honorable Moton. Does Honorable Moton put the question? Thank you. Honorable Minister of ICT.
Thank you very much, Honorable Deputy Speaker. I see Honorable Muton is here today because it's question day, but I don't see him in the house on normal days. So welcome, Honorable Muton. I have all the answers. Thank you very much, Honorable Muton, for asking this very important question.
I used to pity them when they say princess, but now you behave like one.
No, Deputy Speaker, it's our story between me and Honorable
That's why I say I
Don't
used
worry.
to pity you, but now I see really you behave like one. So.
Thank you very much, Honorable Deputy Speaker. I would like to thank the Honorable Muton for posing this very important question, and I appreciate his indulgence always in the interest of the work of the ministry and that of the ICT landscape in the country. The first question, in response, I'd like to indicate that the Data Protection Bill has been discussed by the Cabinet Committee on Legislation, which has directed the ministry to align the bill with legislative drafting standards and address certain outstanding policy issues. And this is because once we had the first draft, there has been a few international conventions signed at the ITU level, some conventions in Europe, some conventions in the Americas, and all of that has contributed to the data protection landscape around the world. So we need to incorporate some of those developments into the current draft of the bill. And I'm happy to indicate that we are returning that bill back to CCL next week when we meet on Monday for CCL's final consideration and for me to be able to finally table the bill in Parliament because we've already gotten the certification from Cabinet. The next question was around why we had delayed. The delay is one, as I've indicated, that there have been some developments in the geopolitical space and where data protection policies are going in the world. But secondly, we had a challenge with our drafters. We actually have a situation where we do have very brilliant legal drafters, but very few that have the capacity to draft laws in the cybercrime and cybersecurity space. So dual skill sets in both legal drafting and cybersecurity. So what we have done is we have actually sent out a call for a consultant. We got the assistance of UNICEF Namibia to help us in that process to find us somebody who has the skill set, who has the legal drafting capacity, cyber law knowledge, and cybersecurity skills. So that nexus is very difficult to find internationally, but we have done so now to ensure that we expedite that in terms of the cybersecurity and cybercrime bill. Your next question was around hosting of our data. Yes, we do actually have data centers in the country. The operators have data centers. I'm talking about telecom MTC and Paratus has a very big data center in Brakwater, a tier 3 data center. We have a data center at various institutions of government. We have a data center at Bank of Namibia, for example. OPN has a data center where we host government data. But we do want to build a national public data center where all these entities can converge and we can hold that data in one particular building to safeguard our critical information infrastructure. And that will also be a component that will then come into the recent changes we made to the Data Protection Bill to ensure that we accommodate that new development. You asked about data protections agreements that we might have in place and a question around data breach. So thankfully we have our safeguard in the Constitution. Article 13 of the Constitution speaks to the right to privacy, and that is where even the legislative strength of the data protection is extended from, that one has the right to privacy and one can actually litigate as per the strength of that article in the Constitution. But beyond that, when institutions get into agreements, government is not involved. If it's a private company that wants to get into an agreement with any other entity, we have no jurisdiction to encroach on that area. We only encourage them to do it in a negotiation case-by-case basis, and to ensure that they actually do their due diligence to protect the data of the citizens. But we do have the safeguards in place on the strength of the Constitution. You asked about the EID. Well, the EID was already a project introduced following a cabinet decision 13/15.08.23/002. This was a 15 August 2023 cabinet decision in line with the Civil Registration and Identification Act of 2024. I think you must understand that EID is not independent with the Ministry of ICT. We work very closely with the Ministry of Home Affairs, Immigration and Safety and Security, because they are the ones who actually have the primary legislation, which is the Civil Registration Act. Ours is simply to say, okay, you have identification regulations and models. How do we ensure that the digital part is added on top? And that's where we come in. And that is why through the Electronic Signature Act of 2019, we have actually now collaborated with the Ministry of Home Affairs to actually start the process of putting together the regulations of e-signature. We have recently gazetted CRAN, the Communications Regulatory Authority of Namibia, to be the verification and host of actually issuing the rights to electronic signature. So all of these security features around the EID are dependent on the civil registration law and the e-signature law, and that has been taken care of with that existing legislation. I have two more questions, Honorable Deputy Speaker. Maybe you can allow me to go through them very quickly. You asked about how can high-tech and local and foreign investors be expected to invest in the country when there are no protections in place safeguarding their businesses and their clients. I can tell you now the investors are coming because there is a strength, like I said, of the existing legislation. The only two critical legislations missing is the Data Protection Bill and the Cybercrime Bill. But everything else is taken care of in the existence of the current legal framework that exists. And I can say this because when there are instances of breaches, we do have mechanisms through NAMPOL, through the Communications Regulatory Authority of Namibia, to actually have those cases adjudicated in court. And they do go through the normal adjudication process. These two critical bills I'm talking about will definitely add more certainty to an ever-changing environment. But business players, as we have seen with the new up-and-coming industries, are not deterred at all in actually investing in this country because we are still in the finalization of our two bills. Lastly, you asked about the mandatory SIM card registration and the retention of the regulations under Part 6 of Chapter 5 of the Communications Act, and when they'll come into full force. I must indicate that they have come into full force. The regulations provide the safeguard in a manner in which information should be stored. Although we do not have the law in place in terms of the data protection law, we do have the Malabo Convention, which is the African Union Convention on Cybersecurity and Personal Data Protection that we ratified in 2019. At the same time we passed the Electronic Transactions Act, we ratified this 2019 Malabo Convention. We also have the SADC model laws on data protection, cybersecurity, e-commerce, and electronic transactions that we are busy using in the absence of those two critical national legislations. But finally, again, Article 13 of the Namibian Constitution is our current largest safeguard, and that is literally where we get the strength as we are drafting the data protection and the cybercrime bill. I so submit, Honorable Deputy Speaker. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Honourable Minister. I'm glad you are highlighting some of the challenges that are prolonging this bill. My concern is just on proactiveness. If we take South Africa into account, they legislated their data protection bill in 2013. The draft bill for this came into, on the table in 2022, and the bill was with the Cabinet Legislation Committee since May last year, 2024. So my question is, and this is maybe you can indulge me, is because technology is so rapidly advancing, should we not look at tabling the bill, getting to the stage where we have legislation? Because even though the Constitution guides us, it's not comprehensive enough in the digital age. Can we not table the bill and amend as we go along? And similar to the Artificial Intelligence Act, that we should look at rather amending as new things pass, because there's continuously going to be new seminars, especially if you take AI into account. So I think the priority should to get this legislation on, so that people's data are protected, and so that, and I know companies are investing in Namibia, and it's great. Namibia is a very investable country, but it is still a very big concern for them if their data is not protected. So I think that is very important that we start looking at rather amending regularly. And then you still didn't answer my question with regards to our data being stored foreign. What foreign data, what data of ours is being stored outside the country? And those that are stored outside the country, what agreements do we have in place with those countries, which is not covered by our constitution? Because if our data gets leaked that side, how can we keep those institutions accountable if they sell our data, use our data against us? So I think that is a crucial omission in your answer. But in general, I appreciate the comprehensive attempt. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Yeah, no, the response was comprehensive, not an attempt. But I fully agree with you, Honourable, that we do need proactiveness. And this is why we're trying as much as fast as we can to actually bring the bill to Parliament. I must indicate that we don't want to bring you a bill and then you look at the bill and then you say the bill is not comprehensive enough. It's not answering question A, B, C, and D, and that. We don't want to bring a half-baked legislation to Parliament, number one. Number two, we don't want to model the law because we want to be fast and bring it to Parliament to model to how other people are doing it. Yes, there are similarities we're looking at around countries around the SADC region and the continent, but we don't want to just bring a bill because it's doing well in South Africa. We're not going to be a copy-paste country where we just copy from others. So that is why we are actually making sure that it's fit to purpose and fit to context for a country like ours, and this is why we are doing the due diligence to make sure the bill is covered. Yes, I really want to bring the bill to you as fast as I can, but I want to make sure that I bring you a quality document that we also don't want to amend too much, because remember, as this legislative house, the way technology moves and the way lawmaking moves anywhere in the world, just not in Namibia, it's sometimes slow. So I don't want to bring a half-baked bill here, then we must amend it every single year. Then what was the point of bringing the bill if it was not comprehensive? So we've taken all of that into consideration. Same for the AI Act, that we have started discussions. But then again, We also want to make sure that once we have the data protection bill and the cybercrime bill, the AI Act will definitely come after, because we do feel, for example, the data protection one is the most important, and that is where I say that we'll bring it as soon as possible. Lastly, you asked about data being hosted in foreign countries. I can tell you, government data is not being stored in foreign countries. Perhaps it's private individuals' data. I'm sure you have a Gmail and a Google account. You probably have an iPhone or an Android phone, which means that that data is being stored somewhere by Samsung and others. So that is the choice of the consumer to say that I'm going to open up an account with a service provider, in this case being a multi-conglomerate, being Google or Meta and others, and they store that data outside the country. We have no right as a government to tell you that you cannot have a Gmail account. If the Gmail account will be able to allow you to run your business, to connect with your loved ones, or do anything else in communication terms. So that data is probably being stored outside the country, and that we have no jurisdiction over. But when it comes to government data, I've indicated OPM has a data center, Telecom, MTC have a data center, Paratus has a local data center as a local company, Bank of Namibia, when it comes to financial data, has a data center. There are a few entities that have data centers. We just don't want them to be in silos anymore. We want to converge it, so we host the data as critical infrastructure in the country in a public national data center, which is incorporated in the new amendments to the data protection bill that will bring to Parliament, and you'll see its reflection there. Thank you, Deputy Speaker.
Thank you. Thank you. No. I think this one, otherwise I'm creating it. Oh, you wanted to think. Yeah, okay. No, otherwise I'm creating a dialogue. Point of privilege. Okay, let's first go to Minister, then we'll come. Because point of privilege is... No, point of privilege... On the question. Okay. Yes. Point of privilege.
Thank you, Honorable Deputy Speaker. I just wanted to ask, just for clarity as well, by design the House is split it in two aisles for fairness, but the Deputy Ministers can answer questions as delegated by the Minister, to the point of even answering follow-up questions. But the mover can be delegated to put the question, but cannot entertain to ask a follow-up question. How does that bring fairness between the two aisles? Is this not a two shot on the other side and one shot this side?
Yes. Okay.
How do we balance the House in that respect, Honorable Deputy Speaker?
Okay.
Because Deputy Speaker, we also have Deputy Shadow Ministers this side that can equally also be delegated as such.
Okay.
If you could assist us. No, in respect of fairness.
Yeah.
In respect of fairness, there is a reason why the Deputy Speaker and the Speaker sits in between, is to balance the two aisles of the House.
Okay.
Thank you, Honorable Deputy.
No, I take note. Yeah. I don't have a straightforward answer. I need to double check, and I'm sure I will come back with a ruling. Maybe it's something that beyond the scope of this platform, we just engage as to say how we go forward. But I take note. Now, on a very, very sad note, and my apologies, the information only came now. Honorable Mwashindange. Huh? Okay. I was just informed now he has lost his grandfather today. First, I must applaud the commitment of sitting with that pain amongst us. Many of us, if it was us, the first thing we do, we take leave. But he came duty-bound and sit amongst us, and he carries a pain of losing his grandfather, who technically has raised him. So first and foremost, maybe we did not announce at the beginning, but I think maybe the information, and that's why I thought just to interrupt and announce. I'm sure we are with you on behalf of the members. We take note of what has taken place. Going forward, I don't know, I must be guided. Venani, what do we do in circumstances like this? Okay. I just wanted the members to take note that the honorable brother has lost a father, grandfather, and he carries a pain. But notwithstanding that, I applaud him for coming to the house and sitting and be duty bound in spite of all circumstances. I salute you and may God bless you and be shallow you very much. Thank you very much. Okay. That brings us now to question 64. 60, 67, 63. 63, the minister is not here. Okay. Then that brings us to 67. Does Honorable Jonas put a question?
I put the question, Deputy Speaker.
Thank you. I ask the Honorable Minister of Gender and Equality and Child Welfare for a response.
Thank you very much, Honorable Deputy Speaker, honorable members, leaders of political parties. I take the floor, Honorable Deputy Speaker, to respond to questions that were posed by Honorable Justina Jonas of the SWAPO party. Starting with question 1, that asks about programs such as skilling, upskilling, and reskilling that are currently offered or supported by the ministry to empower women in the workforce. Honorable Deputy Speaker, I would like to answer this question as follows. The Ministry of Gender Equality and Child Welfare adopts a holistic approach to empowerment, focusing on women and girls across all spheres of life, not solely within the workforce. To address economic empowerment, the ministry supports various income-generating activities with targeted efforts to ensure that approximately 70% of informal traders benefiting are women, while the remaining 30% are men. Capacity building initiatives are developed to enhance the skills of beneficiaries, fostering sustainable economic participation. Namibia's government has embraced gender mainstreaming across all sectors, ensuring gender issues are integrated into policies and programs to promote equity and inclusion. We have specific programs that include Women in Politics, mentorship and coaching, Women in Business Association, which is a SADC framework that Namibia has adopted, being a member state, and the Women in Business Associate strategy is aimed to strengthen women entrepreneurs through training, awareness campaigns, and networking. The formation of this association committees at constituency level. In other words, it also targets women in the rural areas at regional level and at national level. And it has been prioritized with 85% of constituencies and 65% of regions having established these committees already. These platforms facilitate women micro-entrepreneurs to collaborate, to share ideas, and to develop business-to-business partnership. Another program worth mentioning is the Entrepreneur Program, formerly known as AWOMA. This program employs the Start and Improve Your Business model to build capacity among women entrepreneurs, especially those with limited access to business development services. It aims to improve profitability, promote gender equality, and contribute to SDGs related to poverty eradication, hunger, and decent work. Question 2 that relates to whether the ministry is working with the labor movements to increase women participation in male-dominated sectors such as mining, construction, marine engineering, motor, wood, and metal industries. I wish to answer this question by stating that the ministry aligns with the National Gender Equality and Equity Policy 2025 to 2035, emphasizing affirmative action and awareness campaigns to promote women's participation in traditionally male-dominated sectors. Now, the key measures include capacity building. In August, Honorable Deputy Speaker, Honorable members, we expanded opportunities for women in male-dominated trades through Generate Your Business Idea and Start Your Business training that took place in Karas, equipping 50 aspiring women entrepreneurs from technical institutions to turn their skills into viable businesses. And it included graduates from NIMT institutions such as VTCs as well. Going to question 3 that asks whether the ministry offers any funding or grant programs to support career growth of working women, especially in the underrepresented or emerging sectors. I wish to state that while the ministry actively supports capacity building and training initiatives for both men and women, it does not currently operate a dedicated funding or grants program exclusively targeted at women's career advancement in specific sectors. Instead, the ministry provides support through various capacity building programs such as training, mentorship, and business development services, especially for women micro-entrepreneurs and informal traders. Funding for sector-specific career growth, particularly in the STEM or emerging sectors, is primarily accessed through partnerships with development agencies, financial institutions, and international donors where it is applicable. The ministry advocates for increased private sector investment, employer-led initiatives, and joint ventures to facilitate women's entry and growth in underrepresented sectors. Moving forward, the ministry recognizes the importance of establishing a dedicated funding mechanism and will continue to explore innovative ways to support women's career advancement, especially in sectors with high growth potential and underrepresented. Question 4 that asks about the measures that the ministry has implemented to address and reduce gender-based harassment in the workplace. The ministry has adopted a comprehensive approach to combat gender-based harassment in workplaces guided by national and international frameworks. At the Legal and Policy Framework, this August House, through the Ministry of Justice and Labor Relations, ratified the International Labour Organization's Convention 190 in 2020. And the Ministry of Justice and Labor Relations has been spearheading the training of human resources experts in the public and private sector. This convention provides a global standards for preventing and addressing gender-based harassments at work. I'm moving to question 5. Are there any existing or planned programs promoting flexible work arrangements to support workers with caregiving responsibilities? Yes. The ministry's strategies aligned with the third National Gender Equality and Equity Policy emphasizes supportive measures for workers with caregiving responsibilities. Key initiatives include the maternity leave policy enhancements. As we know, as of 1st November 2024, the government increased maternity leave from 12 to 14 weeks under Cabinet Decision number 20/21.11.23/003. It was approved that the government will top up the difference between the employee's full salary and statutory maternity leave benefit, ensuring that women receive their full remuneration during maternity leave. This top-up is facilitated through the revised public service staff rules, which now explicitly incorporate these benefits. Legal framework and sections of the Labour Act of 2007, specifically Section 9, subsection 3, empowers employers to provide more favorable employment terms than the minimum prescribed. The recent amendments and policy revisions align with this section to offer full salary during maternity leave. Promotion of flexible work arrangements. While formal policies on flexible hours or remote work are still being developed, the government encourages employers to consider these options, especially for employees with caregiving responsibilities. The aim is to foster an enabling environment that balances work and family commitment. Supporting childcare and family-friendly policies, the government advocates establishing breastfeeding corners and flexible scheduling arrangements contributing to a supportive work environment for women. These measures reflect the government's commitment to promote gender equality, work-life balance, and an inclusive workplace policy. Question 6, what initiatives are being promoted by the ministry to ensure workplace accessibility and inclusion for women with disability? The ministry's commitment to inclusivity is reflected through multiple initiatives, through the legal framework enforcing the Affirmative Action Act of 1998 that mandates non-discriminatory employment practices and promote equal opportunities for persons with disabilities. Equally, the policy, as a policy strategy, the policy that I just mentioned, National Gender Equality and Equity Policy, incorporates specific strategies to address the needs of persons with disabilities. Moving over to question 7, Honorable Deputy Speaker, honorable members, the question is, does the ministry have a mechanism in place to monitor gender pay gaps, and how are related complaints of violations being handled? Currently, the public sector in Namibia demonstrates a relatively equitable pay structure. However, disparities in the private sector remains a concern. The ministry strategies include monitoring mechanisms, legislative and regulatory oversight, and complaint handling, especially employees that can lodge grievances related to gender-based pay discrimination through the existing labor dispute resolution mechanism, including the Labor Commission. Question number 8, does the ministry go beyond the Ministry of Justice and Labor? Does the Ministry of Gender Equality and Child Welfare collaborate in the enforcement and advocacy of the equal pay for equal work? I think I have already stated this under question 7. The last question, Honorable Deputy Speaker, is on whether the ministry has developed any educational or advocacy programs to help women negotiate and to integrate gender-related issues such as child care facilities, access to free sanitary products, menstrual leave, or flexible schedules into a collective bargaining agreement. Yes, the ministry has initiated several advocacies and awareness programs aimed at empowering women to effectively negotiate and to advocate for gender-sensitive workplace provisions. In terms of the sanitary products, following the adoption of the zero-rate, zero-tax policy on sanitary pads in 2022, the ministry actively participated in discussions with the National Cluster on Gender Education and the Boy and Girl Child to promote awareness about women's access to affordable sanitary pads. The ministry advocates for continued efforts to ensure or subsidize sanitary facilities in public institutions and workplace. Menstrual leave and flexible schedules. While former legislative provisions on menstrual leave are still under discussion, the ministry promotes the integration of gender-sensitive policies into collective bargaining agreements through stakeholder dialogues with trade unions, employers, and policymakers. Educational campaigns. The ministry conducts workshops, seminars, and campaigns aimed at empowering women with negotiation skills, awareness of their rights, and the importance of workplace accommodations such as child care facility, flexible working hours, and leave policies. These initiatives are part of a broader strategy to promote gender equality, women's empowerment, and workplace inclusivity. Honorable Deputy Speaker, honorable members, that was in short the response. I cannot help it because the questions were 9. So unless if we say that we must adhere to what the rules are saying, then we'll be able to respond in time. Otherwise, I'll not be doing justice to the questions. Thank you for the floor.
Any follow-up questions?
There's no follow-up question, Deputy Speaker. Let me just say thank you.
Thank you.
Honorable Minister.
Yeah. No, honorable members, I think these questions were raised way before.
Yes.
We have agreed on the 3. That's why even Honorable Emma was also, but I think cyber security is a paramount issue. But I think we came later just to follow. But also help the presiding, I was reading, so we all went asleep until the Lieutenant General wakes somewhere there during the flight. But I take note. Okay, we have disposed of question 67, 69, 74, 75. Yes, Honorable. Anyone on behalf? He left. Okay. Yeah, because I saw him, he was here. Yeah, okay. 70. Huh? On what? About Bishop.
Was not posed. Honorable Speaker, just to seek guidance, if Honorable Thomas returns, can we revert to the question?
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. Come again? No, we'll finish the book, but I think it's because the member was here. He just left. You understand? It's not as if the member was not here and then he came late. There's still a difference. Okay, thank you. Now, where were we? Question 77. Okay. 78. Honorable Motu. Okay. 79. 80. 81. 82. 83. Honorable Freeze to the Minister of ICT. Does Honorable Freeze put the question?
Yes, Honorable Deputy Speaker.
Thank you.
Put the question.
Honorable Minister of ICT.
Thank you very much, Honorable Deputy Speaker. I'm very excited to respond to questions today. Thank you, Honorable Freeze, for posing this very important question. On the onset, I must indicate that Telecom Namibia is one of the institutions high up on my priority list. In fact, a week would not pass without engaging either the board or management of Telecom Namibia. So I'm happy you're raising these questions to also give an opportunity to update yourself and the nation around really the reforms we're trying to do at Telecom Namibia. Your first question is around Telecom Namibia putting in place mechanisms to stop the cycle of network outages and service disruptions. Telecom Namibia has begun step-by-step overhaul of its most overworked and oldest equipment. You must understand that Telecom has serious legacy technology because you know that as literally the oldest operator in the country, they literally carry our entire backbone of the country. One, we started with a mobile core upgrade. The firewall that sat at the heart of the mobile network has been swapped out for a high capacity model, and an extra control card was added to the Pocket Corp gateway to share that load. Second, we introduced modern routers. The 15-year-old P nodes, and these are big traffic routers, are being replaced nationwide. The Swakopmund unit that kept crashing has already been exchanged and replaced, and a spare router will also be installed by at least mid-November for extra protection. Thirdly, we also introduced a more international capacity where we actually had the Equiano cable. So first we had only one cable, which is the Western African cable system, the WEX undersea cable, which gives us traffic, but also gives traffic to our neighboring countries, Botswana, Zambia, and Zimbabwe that are landlocked. So in July 2022, Telecom together with Paratus worked together to then land the second cable, which is sort of the Google cable, the Equiano cable, which has a building of 100 gigabytes per second links onshore. so that there's actually breathing room from the current WEX cable to the Equano cable so they can share capacity and traffic. And we've seen that that has actually helped in actually bringing more capacity inland across the country through fiber to lessen the load on the existing infrastructure. I must also indicate that the WEX cable is actually halfway through its lifespan. So the second cable, the Equano cable, in about 7 to 8 years, will have to take on that capacity. But because technology is quite modern, that cable has become able to take on the full capacity that exists on the WEX cable. Then the fourth thing is we have converged 4G and 5G readiness. I'm sure you have noticed that with every advancement in technology, we started with 1G, then we came to 2G where you can only make a text message or a phone call. We came to 3G where you can at least download an image or in a bit of high resolution or not. Then we came to 4G or otherwise LTE, and now we've actually launched the 5G in the country. So now we've actually made it possible that instead of gradually replacing the infrastructure around the core from 4G to 5G, they can run in parallel. And in that way, we're able to lessen the capacity on the towers that needs upgrading to run concurrently with 4G or 5G technology. So far, 41 new towers and 33 capacity upgrades were completed in the past 9 months, and all new sites will be 5G ready. Any new site that will be put up now will be 5G ready. And we also have a list of locations of these towers across the country, and we've been engaging local authority councils and regional councils to actually pinpoint where those pockets are so that the new 5G towers are prioritized in those areas. We have also introduced round-the-clock monitoring, where new equipment is under live monitoring 24/7, so staff see early warning signs before customers feel the pain. We still need to close that gap in actually early determination and latter action, but we are encouraging Telecom Namibia to reduce that overturn time to even less hours and days from where we are now, but it is definitely work in progress. You asked, how does the ministry ensure that TN meets its minimum service quality standards, especially for critical sectors such as education, health, and so on. We have existing procedures as per the license that TN Mobile has. The government has issued, through the Communications Act, the Universal Access and Service Policy for Information Communication Technologies and National Broadband Policy with the coverage and connectivity requirements that are in the license conditions and in the rules of the Communications Regulatory Authority of Namibia. TN's license, issued by the regulator CRAN, spells out uptimes, call successes, and data speed targets, and monthly reports go to CRAN. So there's actually that month-to-month monitoring now to ensure that we're able to improve month-to-month on those conditions set by the regulator. Secondly, we have targeted inspections or even just random inspections to ensure that the download speeds and upload speeds are actually equal to what the license indicates to Telecom. And in fact, from this financial year, we indicate to all operators that they need to have a minimum download speed of 25 megabits per second. And we are also monitoring that implementation. So when there are major fault hits, CRAN is informed to take the necessary actions to compel the operator to fix those faults. We also have a broad oversight. As the Ministry of ICT, we have quarterly engagements with every entity. Like I said, Telecom, it's almost on a weekly basis. But with every entity that falls under the Ministry of ICT, they meet every 2 months with the ED and every 3 months with the Minister. So that way we try to sort out problems before they even arise or even before they become bigger. And we've actually seen a better performance rate of our enterprises when we have continuous engagements of that nature. We also have our national broadband. Honorable Speaker, Deputy Speaker, I really don't know now. Because if I just give one sentence, you might not get, The last one under this question is the National Broadband Policy Steering Committee, which also oversees the implementation of the minimum connectivity speeds. Like I've indicated, we've set the bare minimum at 25 megabits per second download speed. Your third question you have asked is what assessments has the ministry conducted on the economic and social impact of prolonged network outages on businesses and essential services. Not to downplay those particular offlines and network disruptions, but I think we have been able to try to contain its economic impact or social impact. Yes, it's very inconvenient, it's uncomfortable, but I can tell you that when we come to the general benchmark of how we perform across the continent, because we have secure energy, and although we need to upgrade the infrastructure at Telecom, we are not in the danger zone to say that it has lasting economic or social impacts. But however, we have considered a digital resilience strategy for Telecom Namibia. Like I said, those engagements, weekly engagements, are allowing us to conclude that particular strategy to actually reduce that turnaround time. That way, TN, Telecom Namibia, can I please say just TN for short? TN can then track losses in e-learning hours, e-health consultations, and point of sale payments during a prolonged outage. The plan can then cost the impact of failures alongside power cuts and fuel shortages. Because you must understand that sometimes it's not necessarily that there is some fault at the operator themselves. Sometimes it's the theft of copper cables. And when that happens, there is a process in which you need to replace that copper cable. Sometimes it's electricity that goes down. And when the electricity goes down, there are some towers that have diesel backup, where there's actually the diesel generator kicks in, but it can only last a few hours. Otherwise, it's just not, in terms of cost, sustainable for a network operator. So when those instances happen, we try to mitigate as much as we can, but technology, like any other invention, is faulty, and it cannot be 100% operational. But through the digital resilience strategy for Telecom, we are working on where we have control to reduce any faults or prolonged outages. We have also asked them to survey with their customers and clients so that we know which areas are more affected, so that we prioritize those areas and close those loopholes first before we go to other areas, so that the customers and clients of those areas, whether it's pharmacies, supermarkets, businesses, service stations, are not prolonged in suffering as opposed to other areas. So we want to arrest those first before we move to others. You also asked about helping the hardest hit sectors cope when the telecom services go down. Yes, similar to the response earlier, we are working on that resilience strategy, working with critical service clients to receive alerts from TN's Network Operations Center before a planned maintenance window or when an unplanned fault starts, because communication is important, so that if we foresee that there might be a challenge, that they communicate with the client so that there are no surprises and the clients can make alternatives when necessary. We also have alternative links. Major customers have alternative links with other service providers who can then come in on a redundancy basis to pick up the load for a few hours until Telecom Namibia sorts itself out. So that we've been able to just mitigate the situation as we are overhauling the legacy infrastructure at Telecom. Your second last question asks, does TN compensate customers when the service is unavailable? Well, TN handles this on a case-by-case basis. If a customer can show that a bundle expired unused because of an outage, or TN extends or recredits that bundle to ensure that customer is catered for. TN also has a policy of advancing rental credit to postpaid customers when a service was down for 2 weeks or more. So they handle this on a case-by-case basis. And we do not encourage necessarily a blanket refund yet. Because sometimes it's really hard to pinpoint who was affected and who was not. People move around, devices, as you know, people move around, and handing out just freebies might not be sustainable, and I can almost say is not sustainable for the network operators. So until we reach a point where we can confidently say that we have brought Telecom to a standard where we do not anticipate those failures for 2 weeks and more, then maybe we can consider that. Your last question, how does the ministry hold TN to account? Well, as an oversight ministry, we really work with them to ensure that we avoid. Because for us as a ministry, our approach is not necessarily always to punish, but to see how we can work together to solve the challenges. And that's exactly what we've been doing. But more than that, when there are severe cases, Telecom is a licensee operator like any other, private or government. And so there are regulatory fines that CRAN can fine TN for not meeting license targets. Fines escalate with the length and severity of the breach. Secondly, we have performance improvement plans where the TN reports to the ministry on action plans and progress reports. We also have independent audits that we carry out with some stakeholders to say, look, please assess the performance of the operator and give us some feedback on how best we can actually close those loopholes from your expertise. We also have root cause reporting, where the ministry and CRAN receive a root cause report and timeline for each major outage, keeping pressure high for improvements. And lastly, in extreme instances and repeated non-compliance by the operator, CRAN can review the license terms or impose new obligations such as mandatory dual path connectivity for critical sectors. So thankfully the guidelines and the regulations are there to circumvent. But Telecom, like I said, because they really hold our most critical infrastructure, information infrastructure, but is of a legacy nature, to backhaul literally, especially fiber, I don't want to say an impossible task, but requires a lot of investment and a bit of time. But we've been able to work on them. And like I said, really a week will not pass without engaging with Telecom Namibia, because it's very much on the highest priority list of the Ministry of ICT, because it holds our critical infrastructure and is the backbone of our infrastructure in the country. Thank you very much, Deputy Speaker.
Thank you. Follow-up question?
Very intellectually very sound.
Yeah.
Honorable Deputy Speaker, I don't have a follow-up question at this moment, but I thank the Honorable Minister for a well-elaborated response.
Okay.
And I would only like the Minister to give me a hard copy of the reply.
Okay. Yeah, I think the Sergeant will assist us with the copy, even for the benefit of other members. But I'm sure also it's been put on Telegram. Honorable Nashinge.
Thank you very much, Deputy Speaker. I thank the Honorable Member for asking the question, but I just wanted to follow up with a very quick one.
It's not Home Affairs, eh? I thought normally you only follow up Home Affairs.
No.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I have.
No, I thought
very
I must
close
get.
to my heart as well, that sector.
Okay.
Just wanted to understand if.
Let's read the rules, ne? No, I'm.
Why not?
Yeah.
Why not?
No. Where is the questions? I just checked it now.
Exactly. What is the
No, just wait. No, just wait. That's why I said let's read the rules. Provide assistance where it's required, not when it's. Okay. After the answer to a question has been given, Rule 134, subclause 3. After the answer to a question has been given, supplementary questions may, at the discretion of the presiding member, be put for the sole purpose of elucidating the answer given. But the presiding member may refuse any such question in which his or her opinion introduces new matters and not relevant to the original question for which infringes or any provisions of these standing rules, and may in that case direct that such questions must not be reported in the journal. Okay. What and let's understand, the lawyers are here. What I'm understanding, the question is not personal to personal. The question is not a member's question to a minister. The question is a minister's question, a member, the House question to a minister. That's why even if the member is not here, somebody else can move that the question be put. Is that correct? Yeah. No, don't introduce new matters. I'm saying let's follow the logic. When a member asks a question and he's not here, another member can, on his behalf, put that question. Yeah, because they are written. Yeah, and the reason why they are written and provided in public is for the benefit of all of us to take note. So it's not about the individual to the other individual. It's just a means. And therefore, any other matter, that's why the presiding officer is guided to say, if the next follow-up question is introducing a new subject matter, that is not pertaining to the answer, because the answer is given in public. So you are also listening, isn't it? So any other member that is following can then put a question in order for him to better understand. I think that's my understanding. Otherwise, then it was going to be personal. I put a question and only the minister can respond. If the minister, you understand. So then it's my question. Okay, thank you very much. Okay. And I'm saying the line of thought is you don't introduce a new matter. The follow-up is to the answer that was given. Like saying the wax cable, how far is it? Did it reach Congo? You understand? It must be relating to the answer that is given. So, Honorable Nashinge, in that line. Thank you. Yeah, I know I'm not 100%, but I'm also not completely off. For me, it's for the understanding because the question is for the benefit of the members and also the public. So you might follow and miss something and you just want to get clarity. Okay.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Deputy Speaker. Mine really, I just wanted to find out from the Honorable Minister as to how many state agencies and ministries are utilizing the services of TN Mobile Service Telecom, and how much does Telecom make from her own mother, our state, per month, per year, in terms, because they are there to provide service. And if the Honorable Minister does utilize services of Telecom.
Okay. Honorable Nashinge, now you are the one now testing the presiding officer's interpretation. That one is completely out. Even your members are helping you. That one, it's not the same. Honorable Minister, I think that one in terms of the rules. You want to respond? Okay. Is it not out?
Honorable Deputy Speaker, you're right. It's out. Where am I supposed, after I received questions in writing that allowed me to get that necessary facts so I can come back to the House to report, am I supposed to
Honorable Emma.
no, it's true.
No.
That how many government institutions use telecom services right here, right now?
No.
And
See,
whether
Honorable
or not,
Emma.
so Honorable
Emma.
Deputy Speaker,
Please,
this is
please,
why
Honorable Emma.
I'm saying.
Yeah, Honorable Emma, just.
Okay.
Yeah. I thought you want to answer. Because I've ruled to say the honorable member's question is not in line with your answer. That's what I ruled. And you said you want to answer, not to implement my answer. I have ruled to say we reach consensus, that question is out. Thank you very much. Yeah. Okay. Question 84. No, Honorable, question 84. Does Honorable Itopo put a question? Huh? No, she. Thank you. Does the Honorable Minister answer the question?
Hey, Venani. Honorable Venani.
Honorable Minister, yes,
If you want to put a question, you have the floor.
Offline.
Go and put it in writing and put it to me. I will answer accordingly. Honorable Deputy Speaker, I should start by appreciating the member for the question as posed and also acknowledging her stance on the police activities along the Osenke borders, of which she emphasized an increase in the number of especially the patrols that takes place there, and the assistance extended to the traders, especially the small-scale farmers. I further want to just have a few words of, English is not our mother tongue. Yeah, maybe a preface, if I may opt to say so, to inform this august House that the Namibian police, as much as it's doing its work in terms of all other activities, we are challenged by budgetary constraints. The ministry, together with the police, are attending to some of these challenges heads on, but there are also challenges that we would not be able to attend to because of those limitations. The installation of the generators, which stands at the center of this question, is one of those challenges that was already underlined during the financial year 2011-2012. And already at that point in time, we resolved to make it a compulsory requirement that every other police station would have a generator. But coming to the question of the honorable member, the question is talking about the standby, which is supposed to be additional to the one generator. I want to draw our attention to the number of police stations we have countrywide and the number of generators that would be required for each one of them. It's just to say that as a ministry, we have tried, as per the assessment that was done, to ensure that every police station have a generator, just in case. We cannot assure you and guarantee you that each and every police station would have a standby generator in case if the other generator is not working. Because I think that's the question, that the way I've read the question and understood it is asking for a standby instead of in a case where the original generator would not be working. Because this was a specific case of a specific police station, but I want to respond in holistic to say that, of course, including the Karasberg and Ausenke police station, there has been made provision for the generators to be there. But as per general response, there could be a generator that is not working at one police station, that police station can go borrow from the other. it would not be practical for us to have generators and then standby generators at each and every police station. That is what I'm trying to underline. Of course, provision is made and was made, an installation was made for each and every police station to have a generator. We are in the process of completing to ensure that each and every single police station at least have a generator. We are, I think, 85% along the way to complete all of them. But as for the standby, it might not be the right time yet in terms of the fiscal space. And honorable member, the facilities that you are asking that do not have, we would not be in a position also to quantify them. Because, you know, generators and all these appliances that are used on intervals can be working today. And if it did not work for a week, by the time you would come and want to use it, it would require service. So, and they are sensitive in such a way that you will never have them working throughout or determine when would they be out of service. But what we do is that whenever we are in a need and the nearby police station would have one, we would advise the colleagues to exchange and consult each other so that they are able to use what is available. And maybe just to assure you and to answer in summary on your third, which is the last question, is just to say that we appreciate the efforts that are being made, starting with the support of the budget, which give us funds to take care of some of these activities, but also to notify you that we would not be in a position to give statistics of the number of police stations that are facing challenges of these generators, because we will not reflect the real situation. If we go to Okangwati today, it's working. Where does Comrade Venani come from? Honorable Venani come from? Okashuru. Then Okashuru would be working that time. So it's not practical for me to give you the exact statistics, but what we are saying is that we are making it mandatory that at least every police station there should be a generator, and we are trying to remove this from the bureaucracy of the Procurement Act. And in advance, I want you to assure me that you would not come back to us to say that if we are not following the Procurement Act, I want us to believe and to have a common understanding that a backup and a standby generator is a requirement, an urgent requirement, because police stations need to function 24 hours 7. I so submit, Honorable Deputy Speaker.
Thank you. Any follow-up question to the answer?
Thank you very much, Deputy Speaker. I want to appreciate the leadership that has been provided by Honorable Minister. Thank you so much, Honorable Minister, for providing leadership. That is leadership and keep social. Thank you.
Thank you. Now that brings us again to question 91. That brings us to question 86 by Honorable is it Kanyemba or Yemba? Kanyemba. Okay, that's Honorable Kanyemba put the question. Thank you. Honorable Minister of Defense.
Honorable Deputy Speaker, comprehensive rejoinders were put before the floor last week Thursday on this particular issue. You may recall when I addressed this House stating candidly, the promotion period in each rank is asked by Honorable Kanyemba. So, records would show that the question was thoroughly responded to. Unfortunately, my honorable brother, the deputy, the minister, the shadow minister of defense was not here. He would naturally bear me witness. Thank you.
Thank you. No, I think there is confirmation. Maybe it's just a error from the table office to remove question 84. Thank you very much. 86, sorry. Yeah, that brings us to question 87 from Honorable Brinkman. Does Honorable Brinkman put the question?
Honorable Speaker, I put the question on behalf of Honorable Brinkman.
Thank you. That was answered. Okay, table office. Come again. Okay. Yeah, please, let's just take note to remove 86 and 87. Okay. That brings us to question 91, where I wanted to go. Does Honorable Nashinge put the question? Question 91 to the Honorable Minister of Home Affairs. Oh, for the answer, okay. We'll come back. That brings us now question 92. PM is not here. 95, international. 97, Honorable Kandorondu to Minister of Health. Does Honorable Kandorondu put the question? Yes. Thank you. Honorable Minister. I think that will be the last.
Okay. Honorable Deputy Speaker, honorable members, I rise to address the questions raised by the honorable member regarding the procurement practices and staff welfare within the Ministry of Health and Social Services. I want to assure the August House and the Namibian people that the Ministry of Health and Social Services is currently committed to upholding the highest standards, that is, of transparency, accountability, and ethical conduct. And in cases where that will be highlighted throughout the answer of the question, where you will note that because of the fact that certain specifications were not given, it was difficult for the team to probe out which exact instances were being discussed, considering the fact that the companies that were mentioned were not necessarily used on a once-off sort of instance. And so therefore, I will provide the answer to the question, but would definitely recommend to the honourable member that where details can be provided as to the particular instances, dates, and times where the procurements were done, that would help to be a little bit more specific. With that said, Honourable Deputy Speaker, honourable members, question 1, it is essential that we, as I mentioned, provide the necessary specific details. Now, the ministry operates under the mandate of saving lives, and yes, sometimes it does necessitate emergency procurement. I myself, during my tenure, have engaged in emergency procurement in instances whereby the normal process would just take too long and lives were at risk. And therefore, yes, it is a practice that is undertaken in the ministry in certain instances. However, due diligence must be practiced in such instances, and we recognize this. Emergency situations are handled or supposed to be handled in accordance with established protocols and exemptions and reported to the procurement policy unit within the required time frame. Is this always the case? No. Should this always be the case? Yes. Have we had instances that it has been reported that this process was not followed? Yes, and we have taken them to task. Without specific information, a comprehensive response is impossible. However, we do encourage that despite the fact that the direct examples be provided, I want to place it on record. When the ministry undertook to procure pharmaceuticals through long-term contracts under the Central Procurement Board of Namibia, which we assumed was part of what was being alluded to, this activity was stalled through a court interdict, which persisted until a favorable High Court judgment in May this year, 2025. during the intervening period when the matter was before the courts, emergency procurement combined with some limited pooled procurement was undertaken through regulatory exemption and related accountability provisions in terms of the provisions of the Procurement Act. No impression should be gained that the procurement activity was not guided in terms of the relevant policy provisions. Regarding question 2, we reiterate the need for specific examples. However, all procurement activities are advertised on the EGP portal as required. We have gone as far as placing it on record that the Ministry has instituted investigation, including investigation by the Anti-Corruption Commission into the affairs of certain units of the Ministry. And so a lot of the questions allude to, are we aware that these has been taking place or that it has allegedly been taking place? And on that, I wish to state that it has been put on public record that we have noted some irregularities in certain units in the Ministry of Health and Social Services, and those investigations are currently underway by the Anti-Corruption Commission. But also allow me to allude to the fact, as I try to summarize the answers, allow me to also allude to the fact there was a question that referred to the need for auditing. The Ministry has taken these necessary steps. There is auditing taking place as we speak. Although there has been some resistance here and there, the goal is to say if there's nothing to hide, you should be open and okay with being audited if the necessary processes have taken place as they should. With that said, regarding question 3, Honourable Deputy Speaker, Honourable Member, workplace environments must be conducive to all staff members, and these instances are handled through human resource and administrative functions where there are complaints. I would expect that genuine concerns should be addressed through the necessary structures, and it is regrettable if a staff member feels the need to raise concerns outside of that when they feel that they are not being heard. It is important to note that in the past ±3 weeks, I have received a few of these complaints directly to my office. About 1.5 weeks ago, I met with a member of one of my units who was complaining and requesting to be shifted because of what you've mentioned, bullying, targeting, and all of that. With that said, we take note of this particular question and wish to highlight that we recognize that the current stance and the current state of affairs regarding the safety and the security that we provide to staff members of the Ministry must be re-looked at, and in certain instances completely overhauled, to ensure that where staff members do not feel safe, where they are being bullied, where they are being targeted, they are able to report it, but also that they are able to get the necessary responses in a timely manner. Because one of the issues that has been raised is that despite the fact that they sometimes raise these issues, because of the bureaucratic processes, it can take up to 1.5 years for anything to be done. And those are the things that we are currently working on to reform. Regarding question 4, as previously stated, the Ministry of Health and Social Services operates in an environment where emergency procurement situations sometimes do arise. When such emergencies occur and essential products or services are unavailable, immediate action is necessary to save lives. I wish to reiterate at this particular point, although my time is up, that particularly with the procurement processes in healthcare, we must remember that healthcare unfortunately does not function as any other ministry because of the fact that the services and the drugs are oftentimes life-saving, and therefore time is of the essence. All exemptions provided in terms of the provisions of the Public Procurement Act and all emergency procurement undertaken are underpinned by accountability provisions and should be underpinned by accountability provisions. Have we had instances where this has been strayed from? Yes. We recognize that, and as mentioned before, there are units that are currently being investigated, and there is an active pursuit of auditing taking place. Delegation of powers have also been tightened to ensure that risks are effectively managed. And then with regards to the last question, I'll summarize the last 2, 5, and 6. Honourable Deputy Speaker, a bid evaluation committee is a technical committee comprising staff members from various units of the office, of the offices, ministries, and agencies. This is in compliance with the provisions of the Public Procurement Act. Having a staff member from the user department as part of the BEC is not inherently problematic as decisions are made collectively. However, this is not particular to the Ministry of Health and Social Services. Information on the internal structures and the pool of bid evaluation committees per offices, ministries, and agencies is readily available. While external participation is valuable, it is not mandatory in every procurement process. However, we recognize the need to ensure that, particularly with these committees, we try our very and utmost best to ensure that there is no conflict of interest. And that is something that we are taking on head first. The last question, Honorable Deputy Speaker, Honorable Member, the Ministry of Health and Social Services does not operate on a basis of arbitrary staff reshuffling. However, staff movements may be considered to optimize operational efficiencies, to leverage strengths and minimize weaknesses. We do discourage the personalization of issues and encourage objective teamwork among staff members. Addressing any instances of victimization will be handled procedurally in line with the Public Service Act number 13 of 1995 and its Code of Conduct. Where necessary and shuffles are needed, I wish to highlight in conclusion to the Honourable Member that those necessary actions have started. We have started reshuffling where necessary. Some of that perhaps not announced to the public, but we have reshuffled, some of them within the particular units that we are discussing, and some of them still to come. I thank you, Honourable Deputy Speaker.
Thank you. A follow-up question?
Yeah, not actually a follow-up, but just a friendly request that, if possible, will you please have time to meet these particular staff members who is complaining about being sidelined. He have been parked in a corner with a very small table, so that you can engage her and maybe you will be able to solve it. But then the copy of the answer is appreciated if we receive it.
Oh, okay. Okay, thank you very much. That brings us, what was the, there are a lot of questions here about Honorable Nashinge to Home Affairs. So if you can just help me with the question. The one we skipped, 91. Okay, so I must go back to 91. Okay. Question 91 by Honorable Nashinge to the Minister of Home Affairs. Does Honorable Nashinge put the question? Thank you. Honorable Minister found the answer now.
Thank you very much, Honorable Deputy Speaker. And let me thank the Honorable Member for the question as put. The preface of the question had made some sentiments, but I am going to focus on the questions as they were put, number 1 up to 5. And I think there is
up to 4. Or up to
there
5.
is a mistake in the numbering because 4 is repeated
4
twice.
is repeated.
Yes.
I think that was inherited by from the blue paper as submitted by the mover.
And because of the nature and the length of the question, I am not going to repeat the questions, but rather go straight to
the answer.
To the answers. Honorable Deputy Speaker, in general and in response to question 1, the questions are pointing into the direction of the ministry having a syndicate, an organized syndicate, apparently that sells the documents. But I would not want to respond to that in general, but I would rather focus on the information at hand. And that information at hand is indicating that as a ministry, we are guided by the laws. And there are various laws that guide our activities. And whenever there are cases reported, we have internal investigations conducted. And maybe just in short is to say that already in 2017, the ministry has created a division of security and risk management services. And this was created with the purpose to deal with incidences of such as those ones that Honorable Nashinga is referring to. The division is tasked to deal with all internal investigation. Could there be a reported case? And this division is reporting to the executive director, who in return reports to the minister as per the order of authority. This division also works hand in hand with other law enforcement agencies. Can it be Anti-Corruption Commission? Can it be Namibian Police? The Office of the Ombudsman? And many other offices that are tasked with that responsibility. For the past 5 years, the ministry has investigated cases of corruption whereby birth certificates and identity documents were issued unprocedurally to people who do not meet the requirements to be issued with such documents. And investigations carried out so far shows that, yes, there are certain individuals who were or are involved in the sale of birth certificate. However, this cannot be qualified into a syndicate, because a syndicate is something that is bigger in magnitude, that is not controllable. There are cases, and those cases are dealt with as they are being under investigations. These investigations are at advanced stage, and the criminal cases were registered with the Namibian Police. And in accordance with the Anti-Corruption Commission Act of 2003 and the Public Service Act of 1995, how many officials have been suspended or subjected to disciplinary action? That was the question. In response, a total of 21 cases were successfully resolved, and all 21 staff members were discharged from the ministry between 2020 and 2025 for being involved in such acts. Currently, the ministry is investigating 4 cases of staff members who are suspected to have been involved in illegal issuance of national documents and permits, and the investigations are at advanced stage. 3 of them were arrested by the Anti-Corruption Commission and were granted bail, and the 1 case is being investigated by NAMPO. The 4th question is talking about the systematic vulnerabilities within the process application and verification. Maybe to respond to this, what I can say is that birth registration is mandatory of every birth occurring in Namibia. And as is enshrined in our constitution, we all know that it's enshrined in Article 15 of our constitution. And it's important to step in securing the identity of every person. And that is done upon approval of the application, and registration of birth certificate are issued when requested. And the good news is that now those registration takes place at hospitals, because he doesn't like the truth, and sub-regional offices and across the country. Offices in high-volume hospitals such as Windhoek Central Hospital, Katutura Hospital, we have about 83 points of registration. But we do not close the doors for those that are not able to reach these offices and that are not able to register upon birth. On your question number 5, what I can say is that over the years, several vulnerabilities have been identified in the process of application for birth registration, verification, and issuance. And that's why you may note that we have implemented new interventions to strengthen the system. That is now, 1, to have more points of registration, 2, to have some of the processes streamlined and being carried out online, so as to avoid long queues and ensuring that those that are vulnerable and not able to reach to the point are also catered for by the many outreach programs that we have. The last question, which is still focusing on the vulnerability, what I can say is that that vulnerability, because the question is seeking for where it emanated from, is that in the past, if you have noted, we used to have the congestion and the concentration of services that were just offered at the regional offices, which made it really difficult for both the officials and the applicants to get their documents on time. But now the decentralization, since we started decentralizing, especially the birth and death registration, they have eased the process, and the system is much, much better in terms of issuance of such documents. The ministry over the years have expanded offices, and we have built sub-regional offices. And like I said, hospitals were also then identified as point of registration. And there is also now a different category, which is known as a late birth registration, which is done for anyone who is to register after 5 years. There is a different category, and the treatment and the requirements are not the same. Going forward, we are going to strengthen all these activities and ensure more effective oversights, especially for registration and the verification of documents. And the ministry have also strengthened the regional structures with 8 deputy directors, because in the past, only junior officials were in the regions. Of course, they are clustered as at now because of the resources. And we have revised the birth registration approval process. And we are also appointing some chief officers and seniors in the regional offices so that they are decentralized accordingly. We have also noted that we are digitalizing most of our processes. The birth registration process are now online, though there could be occasions and instances where the devices might not be functioning, where on incidences you may be issued with a temporal document that is manual, which we encourage all those that have received manual documents to go back to their offices to obtain the electronic documents, because it's just a matter of maybe malfunctioning devices at the time and the point of registration, but we want all of them to be issued via the digital mode. We are also strengthening the security measures, not only for the documents, but security measures also for all the processes that we are undertaking. And we are making it mandatory to conduct security vetting on all our new employees, so as to ensure that we do not bring in the system the people that we would not want and who would not deliver the service that we want. Also, internal risk mechanisms, we are looking at them and improving on them, while ensuring that the outdated legislations are reviewed accordingly. I know you have noted that last year, the Civil Registration and Identification Act was reviewed. We are finalizing the regulations, and soon enough we will implement it. And we are also strengthening the frontline verification. We are enhancing our system integration traceability, and the biometric authentication that we have been reinforcing for a while now. And we are building capacity and ensuring that at the end of the day, each and every person to work for Home Affairs go through the vetting process. Yes, that would be a requirement in the near future. We are upgrading our security features on the ID. You have noted that the new ID have a barcode, and we are also looking forward to collaborate with the Ministry of Justice on the implementation of the whistleblower protection legislation. And we are also spreading our hands to the internal audits offices, so that we have all our processes audited and verified at all times and regularly. As I conclude, it's just to say that our ministry is committed to maintaining the public confidence and safeguarding the integrity of national identification systems. These are but some of the reforms that I have shared with you, and I also invite you, especially Honorable Nashinge, who have a title which I don't want to mispronounce. So if you see any existing gaps and you have any modernizing kind of information to share, security matters are not for public discussions. So feel welcome. Let's sit on the table and you share the information you have.
Thank you. Okay. The time being 7:50, we are way past. There is an invitation. I just wanted to conclude by reminding the members about the fun walk. Those who agreed to participate in the fun walk. Come again? Compulsory. Oh, no. It's not compulsory. Those who have indicated, the t-shirts are available at room 18. The fun walk is scheduled to start 7 o'clock for 7:30, 5 kilos up, Danfeljun. The meeting point is at Danfeljun. They will walk 5 kilos and then 5 kilos back, which concludes 10. And then that... Oh, room 18, procurement. Now, those who have ordered, the t-shirts are available. The house goes into automatic adjournment until Tuesday, 2:30.